Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Thursday evening, and tonight we're doing a red wine. We're going to do a 2017 Bogle. Okay, now it's a petite Shiraz. Okay, now the Bogle is we've done one of theirs before earlier last month. We did the Phantom. Now the Bogle is a six, seven generation farming family. They've been in the wine business for the last couple generations. Before that, they did wheat and corn. And then Warren Bogle said to himself in the 60s, I wouldn't mind planting a crop that comes back and I just got to maintain it instead of replanting each season. So what they did, and they're in by Clarksburg, by Sacramento. After the Civil War, they 5, 6 generations ago, their great-great-grandfather moved from Kentucky, settled out in the West Coast, and what he did was he bought land and farmed it, and then Warren uh, took his son, and they went and bought, when his son was still in high school, the one who runs it now, the head wine guy today, and Warren, they went and they got grapes. They got a petite Shiraz grape, and they went and they got a Blanc, a Sauvignon. And they said, okay, let's try these two wines, see how it goes. And they were very successful. But they were selling their grapes to other companies who would make the grapes, like say the Line 39s of the world, and Plus 90. And so he said, let's try this business ourselves. So in '78, after 10 years of growing, they went into their own business and they started the Bogle Winery. And the Bogle Winery has been extremely successful. As a matter of fact, it was one of the first major wineries in the Clarksburg region, in that Delta Valley, which is noted as the Delta Gem now. And they have the ocean breezes coming in. They got the mountain ranges protecting them, so you don't get the fogs. You got consistent, warm, sunny days, not over hot, but nice, warm, sunny days, cool evenings. Okay, which is conducive for this grape. Now, and so you have the Warren who runs it. You got Jody, who's the daughter who does all the marketing, and Ryan, the other son, is the CEO, does all the numbers. And it's a family affair. It's always been that way. Even their children are starting to work the business, and they have. They keep their people. I mean, their head winemaker's been with it for 25 years. Their assistant winemaker, the head winemaker's name's Eric. Dana, the assistant winemaker, is Dana. She's been with them for 12 years. So, 12 to 15 years. So, they keep their people. It's a family-run business. They have the green certificate. They do 98% of the wines that are picked at this vineyard. 96%, 96 or 98 are all green grapes. Okay, now they have this wine we're going to have tonight. This Petite Shiraz. This is their heritage wine. This is the wine that that's made them famous for what they are. They produce a reasonable price wine that sells at that's a 90, 89, 88. And I think they probably sell also, they've been selling grapes before they had their own winery. They're selling to the Line 39s, they're selling to the other growers, because they know what they're doing, they're sharp. They also make a vintage port. They make a port where they age it for 22 months, where this wine we're going to have. Now, the Petite Shiraz grape, and they make a great cab, they make a sensational Chardonnay, okay? Now, they get the maritime breezes there, So between the maritime breezes, it's called the Delta, between the ranges. So the climate's great, the soil's great. We got the elevation, okay? You're 20 miles from Sacramento, 20-minute ride. So you got the elevation, you got the good drainage, the Sacramento River, running right past the winery. So everything, we have climate, we have soil, and we have people who know what they're doing. Those three things, all we need is God to give us the weather, and you're good to go. Now, The petite Syrah is called petite. It gets its name petite Syrah, not from a name of a grape, but petite is because of small. Okay, this grape is a small, tight grape. Okay, the petite Syrah that you see now, Shiraz, there's two different spells. There's the French Shiraz and the American Shiraz. The American Shiraz spelled S-I-R-A-H, right? The other one is spelled S-Y. The French is S-Y-R-A-H. So, both sound alike, Shiraz, Shiraz, and the American is totally different than the French. Matter of fact, in France, they call this the Dirac grape. The Dirac grape named after a doctor who in late 1800s in France took two grapes. He took a Shiraz grape from France, and he took a Pouilly grape they have in France, two grapes. He took those grapes, spliced them, grafted them together, and he came up with this grape. He was trying to make the grape not as much mildew and a stronger and hardier grape, because it's a thick thing with a lot of. It's like an inky red, very tanniny, very powerful wine. It's probably the most tanninful and powerful wine made in America. Okay, so he produced it. The French didn't like it. The French had a French. We don't do this. No. So they weren't happy with it. So they only let it grow in one region. So the doctor, he loved the grape. He took it. He came to California, sold it to McVeigh out there, and the guy planted grapevines in mid 1885, 1890s. The grape took off. Matter of fact, it was the #1 grape grown in Napa for up until 1960, and one of the first and second most counties in all of California. Now, in the 60s, it was probably at its high, and they did like 4,000. Okay, they did like 4,000, and then 1990s, they were down to 4,000 acres. In 1990s, they were down to 1,400 acres. Now they're back. Now it's made a resurgence. The resurgence is in the 2000s. It was probably a low in 1990s. The resurgence in the 2000s, this wine is up to 10,000 acres. It's one of the fastest growing. It's a big grape. It's reasonable. Now you can get petite Shiraz that sell for 70, 80 a bottle. This one sells for, this is an 88, 89. Wine enthusiasts gave it a 91. I'm not, a little strong for me, but it's definitely an 89, from a couple other people. And this was a silver medal, though. It did win the silver medal. So maybe it is. Maybe I have to give it a little higher. Now, like I say, it earned its name from the smaller grape, not from being the thing. And they grow in tight bunches. Okay. Now, this wine here. Now, usually you don't decant. When you decant the wine, usually you do a 20-year, 15-year-old. Been in the bottle, give it time, let it breathe, let it, let it form. This wine I decanted tonight because this is 2017. This is probably almost not ready to drink. It's right around there, It's right about ready to drink. But if you open it up, it's such a big wine. You open it up, you put it in the decanter, 2 years, 3 years from now, you probably wouldn't decant it, but right now you want it. But if you decant these wines, they're so big. And when I first poured this wine, it was purple. Now it's still heavy red, It's still a strong red, but it was like a dark purple, almost like a Welsh's grape juice or something. But this is, I might do a little bit big pour there. I don't know about that. I was not used to pouring out of that decanter. So, but, yeah, so this grape is totally different. Now, another wine I like is David Bruce makes a nice, petite Shiraz. This is going to have a lot of cherries. I'm getting ready. This is going to be cherry. This is going to be berries. This is going to be chocolate. This is going to be smoke. All the above. Not as much smoke. That's got smoke. It's about 15 to an alcohol. You know, this is up there. 14, 5, 15. Yeah, this is stainless steel fermentation again. Picked, crushed the grapes. You know, 12 months in an oak barrel. Long on the tongue, not super long, more up top. It's almost a little more up top than it is. And with food, see, like, look at the syrup in this one. This thing, when you say legs, this has got them. This has got legs. Because it's just a big fruit wine. And you know, it's dry. And one thing about dry wines are better than sweet wines, health-wise. If you're gonna drink a wine, best thing for your heart, best thing for high blood pressure, lower LDCs, bad cholesterol, drier the wine, the better. The sweeter the wine, the more the sugar. This isn't much sugar when you know, it's not as good as a Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is probably one of the best for you, but this is still, you know, dry wine. This is bold, this is big, this is good with roast, this is good with meats, this is good with grilled, this you do with game, you know, anything but fish. You know, this is a big, you know, meaty, vegetarian, mushrooms, grilled onions, you know. You might even do, you know what, you probably do mushroom risotto with this. And you could sell this for 7 to 10 years. You know, some people take, you know, a lot of people think you can go 20 years with some of these. This, you know, I think you got to get a little bit one more that's a little more fermented longer in the bottles where they keep them a little tighter, a little barrel them a little longer. But this is like a, if you like a big red wine, $9. I mean, and this is good. This is good with pasta. You do a nice pasta with this. This works. This is a great little wine. You know, it's not tart at all. I'm surprised. I figured maybe because I decanted it. If I drank this straight out of the bottle, probably a lot more like that, where it's decanted. You know, it's a little more graceful. You know, so listen, everybody, take care, and just remember, keep your distances, wear your mask. You know, we're getting through this, but we're not going to get through it. We don't want to take a step back. You know, we don't want 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We want to just keep going. So keep your distance, wash your hands, 30 seconds. Hey, 20-second hand wash, 20-second twirl. Okay, tomorrow's Friday, you know, so all those home tutors, husbands and wives and mothers and dads, you can, grandparents, whatever, you know, you got off for the weekend. But listen, God bless you, and let's not forget all our guys, okay? Our ladies and men on the front lines, okay? They're in there doing it for everybody, and it's got to be tiring. I mean, it's a lot of days. You know, when you're tired sitting at home watching reruns, these people are in there every day, man. So hats off to them, and God bless, and see you tomorrow.